All right, guys, today we're going to cover everything to do with making rail shots. That's when your object ball is frozen to the rail. We'll also cover some details where they're just a little bit off the rail, but primarily we're talking about frozen to the rail shots, okay? From various angles, okay? How to do them, how to make it easy, and how to be consistent. All right. So if you can't, this is a lesson. This is not just a shot demonstration. So if you can't set aside a few minutes to watch the entire lesson, probably pass this video. All right. It's not for you. Okay. If you're going to stick around, let's get into it and let's learn. All right, guys. First, let's cover straight on shots. Okay. Both are frozen to the rail. Okay. So you don't have much space here between your balls, one diamond, and you got a long travel distance, okay? This is very, very difficult, okay? Outside and inside spin are generally just going to make it worse, okay? I won't go into that because I'll probably miss both easy. I'm lucky if I make this 1 in 15 times, to be honest with you, especially on 4-inch pockets, okay? I'm going to hit this as straight and as kind of soft as I can with pocket weight. And we'll see if I can even get close, okay? All right. It's a very difficult shot when you are straight on, okay? Now let's check out a couple other distances when you're both frozen to the rail with cue ball and object ball. Okay, guys, now we have 2 diamonds of distance between the balls. They are both frozen. Let's make sure. There we go. Okay. So on these, I actually like to play a little bit of outside spin away from the rail, away from the table. Okay. And a little bit of a drag swerve shot. Okay. It actually holds the object ball nicely to the rail on this shot in particular. Don't do it with every shot. We're talking both frozen to the rail here. Okay. You get a little bit of squirt that comes out past the side pocket horns and then kind of curves back in to make the object ball. Okay, so just a little bit of bottom outside right. Okay, you see that? All right, so that is probably the easiest way to make those, actually from various distances. When you're very close, that does not work, okay? You do need at least 2 diamonds of space in between the object ball and the cue ball. Let's look at some cut shots now. All right, bear with me here. I'm going to explain some dynamics of this shot. This is one, anywhere in here, is one of the most misunderstood shots in pool, in my opinion, okay? A lot of people think, oh, I'll just play some outside spin on this, okay? Right spin, like we did on that one, but that's a different shot when we were doing that straight on both balls frozen shot. That's a different type of shot altogether. We were depending on the squirt to make sure we didn't make contact with the horns, and we were also depending on a little bit of swerve. That's not the case in this shot. Wipe that from your mind. This is a different shot altogether. Okay, when you play outside right spin on this, it is going to cause the object ball to want to go this way to the left. Okay, a little bit. It's called spin-induced throw. Okay, so even if you hit that perfectly to the corner, right where you need to, it's going to want to make it drift out a little bit, breaking it off the rail. Okay, so some people say, well, then just hit it a little thicker. Well, that's true. Hit it a little thicker, meaning maybe aim to miss the pocket on this side, and then you should make it in here, right? But we are on the rail, guys. Okay, if I hit that thicker, meaning I'm aiming on this line, what are we going to hit? The rail. It's going to cause a ricochet bouncing angle. Okay, if we hit that any thicker than we can, it's going to cause it to rub this rail first and change the direction. Plus, the outside spin is going to cause it to go even more to my left, okay? So I do not recommend this shot from this distance. If you just need to make the ball and not worry too much about shape, do not play outside spin on this. You're only going to make it very difficult, okay? Plus, from this cut angle, there hardly is any cut-induced throw, okay? Cut-induced throw, if I'm shooting the cue ball this way, it's going to want to grab a little bit of friction on the ball. It's going to want to grab it and throw it this way. But when you shoot it a little bit firm, and when you don't have, when you're less than 30 degrees, there isn't much cut-induced throw. So spin-induced throw will only make you miss the shot. Okay, watch what happens when I play outside right spin. Okay, and I'm going to try to hit this as pure as possible where I need to make it to the corner. Okay, so here you go, guys. Going to hit it perfectly with outside right spin. Okay, you see what happened there? We made it break right off of the rail. Okay, now on that one, playing outside spin like that, when it's frozen to the rail, I'd be lucky on 4-inch pockets to make 1 in 10. Okay, now that outside right spin shot like we just demonstrated, it's a lot easier if you're that distance from the pocket, okay? It doesn't have as much time and space for the object ball to break off of the rail. But if you look at slow-mo, when you take that shot, if you were up here like this and you're playing outside spin, even if you make the ball, you can watch your object ball is going to break off that rail, even though you might make it, okay? The margin of error is very slim when you only have a couple diamonds of distance to travel. When you have 6 diamonds of distance like this, okay, the margin of error becomes, not the margin of error, but the ability to make an error becomes much greater because there's so much time for that angle. As the ball travels, the angle opens up, okay? So when you are just a little bit off, it's a greater distance down here than it is right here, okay? Got that, guys? Okay, so how about straight topspin, okay? Straight topspin. Topspin will actually help this shot, in my opinion. Especially if you're just playing straight top, okay? You're not going to make them all the time, but here's straight topspin. Hopefully we just missed the scratch in the side. Okay, straight top. I'm going to hit where I need to. Bang. Okay, topspin helps those shots hug the rail, okay? Now let's go into the last example that I find really helps these shots. All right, guys. The last example was how high action topspin actually helps this to hold the rail. Okay. Consequently, just straight backspin on this, I find hinders this shot a little bit. Okay. So straight backspin, gonna aim it the same. Okay. Not worried about the scratch. I'm just showing you what this does when we play straight backspin. Okay. We got 1 out of 2. Not so bad. Easiest way I find to make these shots is to actually play some inside spin. Here's my shooting line. Inside towards the table in the pocket is left, my left. Okay, so left spin is inside spin. Right spin would be away from the table. That's called outside. We're going to play a little bit of inside spin. We're going to aim right where we need to. The inside spin, the left, is actually going to make this object ball hug the rail. Okay, topspin does a similar shot there. It makes it hug the rail too. So actually, top inside gives you your highest potential to make this shot. Okay, like this. Okay, so I had the high action topspin on it. I had the left inside spin, and that object ball just hugs the rail all the way down. Okay, by the way, guys, I am hitting ball first contact on all of these shots. I'm not talking about hitting the rail first, okay? Not talking about hitting the rail first. I'll get into that a little bit in shortly here, but okay, same shot. This time, let's play low action inside left spin, okay? Still, we'll hug that rail, and we still should be able to make it. Whether you shoot hard or soft, actually, to be honest, it works great both ways. See that? This time the cue ball stayed down here because we played a little bit of lower action with the left spin, okay? Generally speaking, when I break the 45-degree cut line, okay, which would be about right here, I tend to prefer hitting rail first with inside spin towards the pocket and making contact with the ball after it hits the rail. However, on a shot of this distance, when the cue ball comes off the rail, it's going this direction. It's, even though you're cutting the ball perfectly down, it wants to make it, because there's a little bit of cut-induced throw or grab or cling, whichever one you want to call it, but it wants to pull this off the rail, especially when you have 6 diamonds for the object ball to travel. So it makes this shot very difficult when you have the distance to travel. Okay, we'll take it here at about 55, 60 degree cut, okay? And let's hit rail first, and we'll see how close we can get. If I can get a half a diamond down there at the end of the table, I'm going to be happy. Chances are I'm not going to make these. This is very difficult to take rail first. It's also difficult to hit ball first. It's possible both ways, but very difficult, okay? So, rail first. Let's see if we can slide it down the rail. Okay, oof, half a diamond, like I said, okay? Half a diamond. You think I'm just not hitting it right? Trust me, I know how to do these shots. Okay, so from this distance, this is a very difficult shot. Let's try again. Scratched, and oof, a little bit worse than half a diamond. Let's try again. Okay, about 60 degrees, 70 degrees. Here, let's right there. It's about 55 to 60 degrees. Okay, rail first again. Oh, 1/3 of a diamond. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That was probably about as good as we could hit it. Now, keep in mind, guys, that if that ball was here and we were taking that shot, I would have made it. Okay, it's only because of the 6 diamond travel that angle kept opening up until, we were 1/3, we were half, and we were 2/3 of the diamond out of the pocket. Here, we would make that shot nearly every time if we hit it properly, just like we did that last one, okay? Bingo. Oh, and we scratched, but in this situation, I'm just trying to make the shot and show you guys a demonstration. Okay, guys, here's a shot that comes up nearly every game. You have a ball on the rail within 2 diamonds of the pocket, the corner pocket, okay? It doesn't matter, anywhere within 2 diamonds, okay? And your cue ball is somewhere, from this diamond, somewhere in this triangle here, okay? Doesn't really matter, okay? I'll tell you when Earl Strickland actually taught me this. It's his kind of principle of, get rid of a couple lints here. Okay, basically you just aim this straight on, even with a low deflection cue. If you're going to actually hit this at a firm pace, a 7, a 6 to 8 weight, because you want to get back down table, all right, you aim straight on. Aim straight on. You're going to play some left spin, inside spin, okay? It's going to cause a little bit of squirt on the cue ball. Doesn't matter what cue you have. If you're hitting at a firm pace, you're going to get some deflection, okay? The deflection is going to make you cut this just perfectly, okay? Now, every cue is different, so this does take a little bit of practice to get used to, guys, okay? So if I want to bring this cue ball back basically to where it is right now, I don't have to play draw. You can work the cue ball around. Okay, I'm going to aim thicker on this than I normally would. I'm going to play top left. Watch what happens. Okay, like I said, we bring the cue ball pretty much right back to where it was. Okay, that's not where I was aiming. Yes, it was on the rail. I was aiming a little thicker, almost straight on, okay? If I was using one of my other wooden cues, this is a pretty low deflection cue, I would have aimed straight on like I was going to miss the shot. On this one, I just aimed in between where I normally would cut and straight on in the middle there is where I aim with my J Flowers SMO shaft, okay? So, very cool. It's very doable. Practice it with your cue and see where your aim line needs to be able to make those shots with inside spin and just work the cue ball around. Let the spin do the job. Did you see how when it hit here and here, probably 60% of the momentum was coming from the spin as it grabbed the rails, okay? It wasn't even the top spin velocity that I had on the shot. It was the spin grabbing the rails and launching it, okay? So it really helps it. You don't have to overhit that. I hit that probably at a set 6 to 7 base, 6 base, I would say. And it worked around nicely. All right, guys. So far, the shots we've covered haven't really been shape dependent, okay? But what if your next ball requires a little bit of precision? What if it requires a specific small window zone, okay? So let's say we want it to be right in here because we had an object ball here, our next ball was right here. Let's say we had some blockers here, so we couldn't make it over here. So we have to get into this specific zone, okay? In here, okay? For whatever reason. Use your imagination with blockers and stuff, okay? All right? So we're not going to get there playing forward with this and coming off 3 rails. It's not going to happen, okay? It's going to come over here like we already discovered. So we need to learn how to make these in all different types of ways. So I'm going to do a controlled draw shot here. I'm going to use the natural angle to come over here, maybe just a half a tip of outside right to help support this shot, and just enough not to scratch, okay? We do want to be between this diamond and the side pocket without scratching, okay? So let's see if we can do a controlled draw shot here. Use the natural angle. Okay. Oh, I would have preferred to be just a little closer to the rail, but I think we got to the window that we needed to be, okay? Right here was more of where I was trying. But hey, practice those shots in all different ways and shapes and forms, okay? Like if it's over here and you're traveling 6 diamonds distance, you are limited on how it can be made, especially on what type of angle you have for the cut, okay? So sometimes you just have to make the shot and take what the table gives you the next time, or play safety and don't make the shot. But when you are in this zone here, you can make that shot many different ways. Rail first, ball first, inside, outside, top, bottom, and you can move that cue ball around wherever you want, guys, okay? It takes practice to figure that out. All right, guys, let's talk about what happens when you're about a ball distance off of the rail, okay? Now, I see a lot of people, I'm not going to talk about left and right spin, just hitting it one tip above center, okay? I see a lot of people, they try to baby these shots in there. And oftentimes, they're aiming properly for the center of the opening, but they end up hitting the long rail up here, okay? So they end up coming up short, so they don't cut it enough. But they actually do, but there's something called cut-induced throw. When you're hitting it at a softer pace, especially when you're trying to baby a shot in, there is some cling, some grab, some static friction, okay? So, and if the cue ball is going this way, it grabs it a little bit and wants to throw it off line and wants to throw it the direction the cue ball is going. So that way, meaning we are most likely going to miss it by hitting the long rail here first, okay? So the solution to that would be, one of them would actually be to overcut it, okay? And but I'm not. I'm going to try to aim center of the opening of the jaw, pocket jaw, and let's see if we make it or miss it. Okay, I still made it, but we did end up hitting the rail up here. Luckily, it still went in. So for you players that have played many years and have done the shots millions of times, your brain actually knows how to compensate. If you're trying to hit this soft, it knows that you actually need to overcut this a little bit. So um, my brain as well, if I know that I'm hitting it soft, it's hard to actually aim here because we kind of automatically overcut it a little bit to compensate for that cut-induced throw. But so let's just try it again. I'm going to baby it. By the way, this is not how I would take this shot in most matches. Okay, we made it again, and we did hit up here again, okay? So any harder on that shot, if it went on that same line, that would have rattled, okay, on my 4-inch pockets anyways. So let's talk about how to make those confidently every time. Okay, so you can put a half a tip of outside spin to offset the cut-induced throw. I wouldn't really recommend that either because then you get a little bit of deflection. It can cause you to hit the ball a little thicker. Like there's some other problems that can cause. Unless it's something you've practiced over and over and over again and you just can't miss it, then hey, knock yourself out. If you're consistent with it, it's great. But a little bit of spin induced throw, and hey, plus every cloth is different and balls are different. And so that factor is very different from table to table, okay? And cue to cue, by the way. So anyways, I don't really like to do that, okay? Because there are some factors that come into place that makes it potentially a little bit harder. Here's some outside spin. Okay, so I hit that just a little thicker than I needed to, okay? Because probably there was a little bit of deflection to my left causing me to hit it thicker because I was playing outside spin. Try it again. Okay, same thing, guys. So there's some problems there that come into play when you're trying to play a little bit of outside spin on these shots. Okay, there, that time it worked, but I only did get 1 out of 3, okay? So I'd like to just take that with no spin at all. Let's check it out. Okay, like I was saying, no spin at all. Now, if you need to get down table, down there, you pretty much have to play this with some inside left spin, okay? But that also makes it harder on this type of shot. It's different when it was on the rail, okay? This is a ball off the rail, okay? Let's try some inside spin here. I'm not going to compensate my aim. Let's see what happens. All right? So you have to learn how to compensate your aiming. Let's try again. There we go. And we got down table, okay? So again, when you're adding side spin, you're adding other factors into the situation that oftentimes make you have to compensate your aim, okay? Like I said, if you practice that all the time and you know how to do it, bang, 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 hey, knock yourself out, okay? This is more for the beginners and lower intermediate players that are trying to figure this stuff out. But I find the easiest way to make these shots when they're a ball off the rail is just committing to the shot, hitting it at about a 4 to 5 weight, not real hard, but committing to it. Check it out. All right, guys. So the easiest way to take this is just commit to the shot. Don't baby it in unless you absolutely need to. But don't baby it in. Just commit to it. All right. Depending on where you need to go, if you need to stay on this end of the table, you can do that quite easily just playing vertical on the cue ball. If you need to get down to the other end of the table, it's a different story. Okay. But let's say anywhere in this end of the table is pretty good. Okay. I'm going to play this just a little bit below center. I'll try to hit about here with where the chalk is. Okay, and let's just commit to the shot. at about a 4 weight, which is lag weight, guys. Okay, here we go. Bang. Okay, you can see I was even off a little bit, but because I played a little bit below center, it had a nice forward rotation on the object ball, okay? So when it hit that pocket, it accepted it very easy, okay? That is my favorite way to shoot those, actually, is just a little bit below center. I can make that shot seven, eight, 9 times out of 10, okay? 6 times in a row, I do it all the time. I just did a video on it a couple days ago. And just commit to the shot. Don't complicate it with side spin, guys, unless you really need to, okay? This is about a 45-degree cut. Let's get into what happens if it's maybe a 75 to 85-degree cut. Then that's a different story. Okay, guys, now we have about an 80-degree cut down to the corner, okay? Object ball is a ball off the rail still, okay? So in this scenario, I am going to use outside right spin, okay? It's going to help this ball to just hug the line all the way down to the pocket. Not the rail, but the line, okay? Because it helps throw it to my left when I play right spin on the shot, guys, okay? So I do have to compensate my aim a little bit, though, because there is a little bit of deflection, okay, no matter what cue you're using. So on this one, I almost have to aim to miss the ball by a hair because when I put the right spin, it's going to cause some deflection towards the object ball. So I'm still going to make contact with the object ball because of the deflection. If I didn't do that little compensation, I'm going to hit this too thick. All right, so let's check out, see if we can make this shot or get close. About 2 tips of right spin. Okay, and here we go. Okay, let's try again. This is not an easy shot. Not for beginners at all. Okay, so let's try it again here. There we go. Hug the line right down to the pocket. Okay, did take me a couple tries there, but you see what happens that time. The spin induced throw made that shot possible. Without the spin induced throw, it's nearly impossible from that distance. Um, It's not fully impossible, but on 4-inch pockets, good luck, okay? Because you're likely going to hit up here on the rail. You very easily could rattle it. As you can see, I didn't rattle at all because that spin-induced throw made it glide right in. So in summary, guys, not all rail shots are equal, okay? There's many different kinds. There's from the straight on ones, to the 15 to 20 degrees and 45-degree cuts, and long ones and shorter ones, and ones where you have a longer distance between the object ball and the cue ball, and you want to come around 3 rails with some, running inside spin and all this kind of stuff. Not all of them are equal. Sometimes outside spin makes them easier. Sometimes inside spin makes them easier, guys. There's no one solution fits all, okay? We covered a variety of rail shots here and ones that were close to the rail, okay, and how they're made easiest. I hope you learned. I love, sharing this knowledge on these shots with you guys, and I hope it helps your game. See you at the next lesson.